Alright, so now I'm going to show you the difference between a standard single-sided packing cube and a compression packing cube. So for examples here, I've got ShackPak's smallest packing cube of its set, and I've also got the Tript compression packing cube, which they happen to be a pretty similar size. You know, the ShackPak cube's slightly bigger, but the main thing I'm going to be looking at here is whether the compression cube actually reduces the size so significantly that it's worth the premium price. So what we're going to be looking at here is the width, but also the depth and the general appearance. Cool, so I'll put some clothes into these packing cubes and we'll take a look at whether there's any differences. All right, cool. Okay, so I've tried to fit about the same amount of clothing in both of the packing cubes. I must admit I did find it a little bit tricky with how the Tript packing cube does only open about half of the way, which it's fine, you know, it's not going to kill you, but it does make packing that little bit less convenient. Here's my ShackPak cube. I did use a couple of chunkier clothes in the ShackPak cube compared to the compression cube. Mainly for the reason I'm a bit worried the compression cube's not going to shut, but let's give it a go. So ShackPak cube, I have what I've got about 4 different tops and a pair of pants, and it sits up pretty nicely. So it's a little bit uneven because I'm not taking my time, but there's the ShackPak cube, so you can get an idea sort of width across the bag. You guys an example. So that's what a standard packing cube would look like. Now this can still be compressed in your bag. You know, you can still, if you squish it with other packing cubes or as you start to pack your bag until it's full, it will naturally compress in size. However, it doesn't have an inbuilt compression function. So this is the Tript compression packing cube. So I filled this one with, this has got a bit of less clothing to be honest than the ShackPak cube. So I've got 4 smaller tops and then 1 long sleeve top. So no pair of pants in this one. But let's see, I've rolled the clothing up and I'm interested to see whether it actually does compress them. So first zip, done. So this is the standard size of the packing cube. You guys can see. All right, so let's give it a go. All right, so compress. Okay, so this time around it did compress, well, like at least it zipped up, I'll just say that. Okay, so at first impression I would say that this packing cube has compressed it. However, this is with less clothing in it than what was originally in the ShackPak. But you can see here, yeah, it's more compact, but I wouldn't say it's any shock or surprise in terms of the sizing. If we compare it next to the ShackPak cell, you'll see a little bit of a difference in terms of width, but I wouldn't necessarily be blown away by this. Let's try adding in some more clothes. I might just add in, let's see if we can add in some pants and let's see how that will compress down. So I'll take out this top. So I'm just curious, let's have a look. All right, so now I've got some pants in there, which makes it a bit more similar to what the ShackPak packing cell was. So you can see here, when it's open, it's a pretty normal size. Cool. Now I'm going to try and compress it. Okay. Right, so now I've got into problems where this packing cube is not going to zip up. Oh, or it will, hang on. Okay, cool. So it zipped up. I'm actually quite surprised it closed, but what you can start to notice here is it's bulging more in the center, and although yes, it is more compressed to the sides, you know, you guys be the judge. Do you think that looks a lot more compressed than what it did before? I'm not convinced, but you know, it is nice and compact, you know, maybe that's a great advantage, but otherwise I don't necessarily feel it has packed it down that much less than what it was beforehand. Cool, all right, well what I'll do as well, something I would keep in mind is generally with compression cubes, so this one I'm giving you an example of where I've rolled the clothing, but generally with compression cubes, given how they work, it may actually be more effective to fold the clothing. So I'm going to just have a bit of a play and see if that is the case. And let's see if that makes any difference to the amount of compression I get from the compression cube. Okay, so now what I've done is rather than rolling the items of clothing, I have actually decided to fold the clothing instead. I have managed to fit in 1, 2, 4, 5. So I've managed to fit in 5 pieces of clothing, which is what it was when I rolled the clothing as well. So let's see how it goes now that the clothing's folded. So this is the current size without it compressed. Alright, so now this is it compressed. Oops, gonna be a struggle. Ah. Come on, we got this. I must say, the material does keep getting caught in the zip, which is a bit annoying. But I don't think it's handling it. Oh, here we go. God, just. So look, that was with 5 pieces of clothing, similar to when I rolled it. And that's the size there of the compressed version. So based off first impression, I'd say that it doesn't look that much thinner to me, but it's just a lot more, I guess, compact in terms of the air being sort of squished out of it. But in terms of saving you a lot of space in your baggage, I'm not fully convinced, but I can't fully judge because I really do have to give it a go and actually try packing them into a bag. But gives you an idea. I did almost struggle with getting this one closed though. That was very lucky, I think. I might have almost overpacked it. But anyway, so I hope that has helped to give you guys a bit of an insight into compression packing cube versus normal packing cubes. So up to you guys whether you think there is enough difference to validate spending that extra money on a compression cube. Based on my experience, I'd probably say it's not. I'm not convinced that these compression packing cubes are any better than a normal packing cube, given that as soon as your bag starts to get full, it gets squished down and compressed anyway because you've got so much stuff in there. So I really hope this has helped. If it hasn't, let me know. But otherwise, yeah, good luck with your packing cubes, guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. All right, see you later.